Good, beautiful morning to you. Hope you're embracing the day, the weekend, with vitality, and thanking your master, your father, for the life he's given you for the day. And as I keep telling everyone, writing everyone, you gotta repent. Get your repenting done as fast as you can, because that time is near. And none of us knows when he's returning, but it's near. That time is so close. Like flood waters, as you're witnessing in the eastern part of America. If anyone has ever been involved with flood before, we have up here, in other places, but it comes fast. It comes violently, and it comes powerfully. It lets you know where you stand amongst the grand scheme of things in regards to terror and yourself. But we are continuing on with this beautiful book of Genesis, the 22nd epistle, and we're at this separation of a family. This is where we're at. Abraham has two boys, one from his wife and one from his second wife. And we learned that the two boys were playing together, and his wife, Sarah, did not like the way they were playing with one another. So we discussed that in full detail, and this is where we left off. And I ask you to put yourself as a parent in Abraham's shoes. These women, ones that don't know any better, keep boasting about their body and try to throw pregnancy into their health care as if this seed is nothing. What they're forgetting is they are not responsible for the birth of that seed. Women were brought forth out of earth second, out of man's gut, not the other way around. For women to populate this planet, they must have a seed. That seed is carried by the male species. Always was, always has been, always will be. That will not change. Play around man's world all you want, but I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to end up. You're going to be bit by this. It's going to hurt. Every time you follow man, it's going to lead you to a path where you're going to end up by yourself, and man is not going to come to help you. Then what do you do? Oh, then you turn to God, right? Like everyone does? Just food for thought. All right. A couple of things about these two boys. The way I see it is Abraham has a son for mankind, Ismael. Life under the sun is Solomon puts it. And another son for God. One boy for life, for earth, for terror. One boy for God. Incredible parents to do that. Incredible for Abraham to be blessed that way. It's just beginning with his seed, by the way. After he has his conversation with God, and God tells him, fear not, nothing's going to happen. He rises up in the morning, packs everything, takes the bread and the water, and puts it on Hagar's shoulders. Delivers the boy to her, and then dismisses her. Off she goes. And being that she was retained in Egypt, I'm assuming when Abraham took his family to Egypt during the famine, that's probably when she was employed as their house servant, and she's remained with him ever since. But now that she's being exiled out of beautiful Abraham's family, where else is she to go? She only knows two things. Her land, where she was born, Egypt, and her employer, where she ended up. Who happened to be a very religious guy, and his name was Abraham. So now, yeah, she's going to head back down to Bersabee. Moses doesn't write how long has lapsed, but when the water runs out, the sustenance runs out, Hagar becomes discouraged, depressed. And she sits the boys against the tree, and she steps along a distance from him, about the distance of could shoot a bolt from a bow, shooting an arrow from a bow. And by the way, it's a polysci-fact. That's how boundaries, land boundaries, territorial boundaries were first initiated. International boundaries became later when the ships were built and we had gunpowder. International boundaries became the 10-mile international waters because that's as far as the cannonball could travel. So the 10 to 11 mile is actually still the international marker that we use to this day. However, many nations, America included, as well as Russia and many others, cheat those boundaries incredibly. Alright, so she distanced herself a bow's shot, arrow shot distance away from her boy, so she can see him, kind of, if she stood up, but she doesn't want to see her boy die. That's what she says. She says, I will not see my child die. She's basically giving up. But she's out there in the wilderness, so I'm wondering why. What has happened to you that you're giving up so fast? Again, Moses doesn't elaborate. But that's not the point, I guess, and that's why he doesn't elaborate how long she's been out here. Her survival skills is not the point. The point is this, is that she reached the end that she thought, what she assumed was the end of her life, as well as the end of her child. Then, voice from heaven says to her, what's wrong with you, Hagar? Why are you crying? Fear not. Why? Because who has heard, while you're sitting here weeping in your self-pity, Elohim heard the weeping of your child, who you can't see right now because you left him over by a tree, but he's over there crying to me, to my master right now, to God. And Elohim hears his cries. That's what you have to get from this. I'm going to say this one more time. All right, so she's weeping. She gave up. God's not appearing to her, feeling sorry for her, to cheer her up. That's not what Moses writes. Moses writes specifically, he heard the cries of the boy, not her self-pity. She's being saved because of that boy, because of who he is. The loins of Abraham. And Abraham is a mighty patriarch. They didn't know it then. Maybe some of them did. But look at him now, huh? Generation after generation will continue to discuss the loin of Abraham. How about that? Arise, take up the boy and hold his hand, for into a great nation I will make him. There's a bond being made here. Nowadays, it's a piece of paper called a contract. Or others, myself included, rely on a handshake. Most of the time it's broken on the other side. But I like to have the belief in humanity. And most people will break their agreements, including my own family has done it as well. So to have a real loyal person who's true in his word, those are real people to find. They really are. But this bond that's being made here, try to picture this. You have this child in the middle, Ismael, on one, and he's standing between two adults. One adult is his mother, holding his hand. The other adult is this angel. So God is holding the hand of this child, and the other hand is being held by his mother. The covenant is this child, not some piece of paper. It's a beautiful, exquisite presentation of covenants between God and man. and how just they are, and how loyal. He has always been with us. Never always been the other way around, though. So there's this bond. This presentation I'm showing you, this is showing that there's this bond being constantly made. Well, there's this bond now being made between God and this other child of Abraham. It's also showing that Elohim did so love this boy. Absolutely. He loved, and thirdly, he loved Ismael no differently than he loved Isaac. But ask yourself this, from everything I presented to you, has Isaac held the hand of Elohim yet? And will he? Afterwards, God opens her eyes and she sees the well of water. So she fills the bottle up with water and goes to the boy and gives him something to drink. Finally. Elohim has embraced the heart and soul of Hagar, apparently. Even with her weeping, he has embraced it. He has saved Ismael's life as he saved so many others. As he saved mine, I know. Myself, I've been saved 5 times. 5 times. I can count them on my hand. 5 events that I have no explanation how I've gotten out except miraculous. I will go to my grave with this because I believe firmly in His strength and His power and His lookout. As we continue, Elohim was with Ismael and he grew and lived in the wilderness, and he became a pretty decent young man and a fabulous archer. So yeah, you're the best instructor. I mean, God has shown him how to survive in the wilderness, shown him how to hunt, shown him how to trap. But there's one thing Ismael is missing. Can you remember what Elohim said when we talked about the prophecy? When we talked about this child, that other mankind will be against him and resist him? Well, this is it right here. Ismael's in the woods, but he's not amongst mankind. He's only amongst God. And God, His angels are raising this boy and taking care of him and his mother. How incredible is that? Who needs man, huh? But yeah, this is going to be a problem for Ismael later, as God predicted. So he, if you look at our maps, you'll see where Pharan is. He dwelt in that wilderness, the wilderness of Pharan. And his mother, Hagar, she ends up finding a wife for him. Not out of Abraham's land, though. Out of her land, Egypt. So she finds Abraham's son, Ismael, a wife, but not from his land, from the Egyptian land. After all, as I said before, Egypt is where Hagar was raised. So after she was booted, where else is she going to go? She knows no one else in Judea. She's not going to live amongst Palestinians. She doesn't know anyone over there. All right. All this set aside, something else is going on. Remember King Abimelech and his general Michael? Well, after seeing everything that Abraham's going through, everything that Abraham went through, and how God has intervened so many times, he goes up to Abraham and says, truly, you are a man of God, and God is with you. So, since God is with you, I want you to swear to me right now, by God, that no harm will come to me, or my posterity, or my stock. But according to the mercy that I have done thee, and you will do no harm to me, to my people, to the land, where you lived as a stranger in my land. I didn't know your wife was your wife. I thought she was your sister. So this is where this all goes back to. So he's coming back to Abraham because he wants this not to come back to him. Abimelech is believing in the power of God. You're darn right he is. Abraham says, I will swear. And he rebukes Abimelech for the well of water, which his servants took away by force. But Abimelech, he answers, wait. I didn't know anything about this until you just now told me. I have not heard anything about this well being taken by my servants till this day. And he swears to this. So this is also another incredible thing about Abraham, is that he takes the high road on this. Doesn't call him a liar, doesn't challenge him. He offers him, he takes sheep and oxen, and he gives them to Abimelech, because they make a leave from this point on. Huh? Incredible. Abraham has so much wealth. And again, as I told before, when Lot and he separated because of all their wealth together, they could not get along. Remember, even their fellow shepherds were fighting amongst each other. This is happening again amongst Abimelech, who's not his family. He's an Egyptian. His people and Abraham's people. Or Palestinian, I'm sorry, I said Egyptian. But, yeah. So again, this is happening again. But Abraham takes his high road. All the time, keen and wise he is. Because to Abraham, what I get out of this, he's the first to discover with your neighbor, it's better to have peace and friendly relations than acrimony and having to look over your shoulder every day, or having to look after your herd to see if it's been stolen every day. Absolutely, peace is the better route. Abraham sets the 7 ewe lambs to stop. He sets these 7 ewes apart. And so to the king, Abimelech, he says, these 7 lambs, which I've made to stand apart, shall take at my hand, that they may be a testimony for me that I did this well. So, Abraham is telling King Abimelech that I'm swearing to you, not on God, as you've learned in some of my other eulogies, or you will when we get to Exodus, if you haven't learned already, to swear by God that you hear so oftentimes decided is a bad thing to do. It's a habitual thing that started around the time of Exodus, believe it or not. I won't get to that when we get to that. But Abraham is swearing on these 7 lambs as a tribute, these 7 beautiful ewes, that he dug this well, and this belongs to his people. So we're going to call this place Bersabee a well of oath, because both did swear that Abraham did this well in the land of Philistine, King Abimelech's land. So they made this league on the well of oath. The well of oath. King Abimelech arose, and his general, Phicol, rose with them, and they left. They went back home to Palestine. What does Abraham do? He plants a grove in Bersabee. And once again, he calls upon the name of our God. And I'm sure Moses doesn't write it, but I'm sure he builds another altar because of everything that's been done. It's sensational. Just sensational. So this finishes the 21st epistle to Genesis. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time when we begin the 23rd chapter to the book of life, Genesis. Until then, pax vobis, and repent. Please, I beg thee, repent.